warfare. If we do that in city councils, if we do that in school board meetings, you will dominate. You know, just get up and say, no, you people are mentally ill. You're acting as because you've been affected by a weaponized Munchausen's by proxy. You know, we need to examine this right now, blah, blah, blah. Just throw a big stink. It'll so disruptive that they won't be able to proceed with their whatever trans stuff that they want to put out. They have to stop and react to what's going on. So you disrupt their plan instantly, even if it goes no further. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, and so my friend Mark McDonald, he wrote a book, you know, about he's had two he's a child psychiatrist, but he's had two books on the psychiatry essential of what's going on. But in this last one, he's talking, I can't remember the name of the book, sadly, but it's about taking back America from this cult from this psychiatric illness. And what he's saying is, he's saying he's gotten to the point he thinks it needs like a 12-step program intervention.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I've thought that myself, okay? Started showing up, I thought that myself. It is not, he's correct, but it's not a good tactical response.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
His strategy is good, but because it's so muddied, okay, because there is a spike protein, because people think they have long COVID and so on and so on, right? But nonetheless, you see what I'm saying, right? Because in the public's mind. However, trans is very binary, in spite of the fact that they claim otherwise. Trans is very binary. You accept it or you don't. Okay.
I got you. You don't have to get involved in too much science to argue the point.
We don't have to get bogged down. All we have to do is basically stand up and say, there is a Chinese weapon that is a weaponized form of Munchausen's by proxy. We have proof of it. And we think you're a victim of it, and we don't want to proceed with anything until you've been cleared that you're not a victim of it. Wow. And then you set up conditions with the 3 psychiatrists or 3 sociologists or whoever you got handy, and set it up formal and make them come out with an official report. And I know these doctors, right? I know psychiatrists. My brother was a lifelong schizophrenic, and I had to deal with psychiatrists all through my teens and into my young adulthood, et cetera, just dealing with him. You're not ever going to get 3 psychiatrists together in a room to certify that a politician is sane.
Yeah. Well, probably none of them are sane anyway, even without.
Right. But that's my point. But even so, you see what I'm saying? They will always find evidence to support the position that the mob takes, that those people are mentally ill. And
now, how about in general the financial? So we can deal with that. How about getting us out of this? How do we get ourselves out of this financial mess that's coming? Because they want to take down our whole financial system, and I think people are really worried about that.
No, okay. So here's the thing.
But I don't know if they can do it. You said they wouldn't be able to do the CBDC. What's going to happen, you think?
We'll have an organic solution. I think there's a solution that the SOC has prepared. But here's the thing.
It's not the quantum financial system.
No, it's a bunch of horseshit.
Okay. And how about Nassara Jassara? Is that all horseshit? Okay. All right.
Okay. Those are houses. Those are structures. Okay, quantum financial system is a structure. It's a system designed by someone else. No one in that is ever going to be free. Same thing with Nassara Gassara.
I got you.
So it's all bullshit, but even so, it is a structure. They want your mind to be happy in the little structure. Here's a church you can come into and worship. That's what they're saying with these things, okay? It will be messy. It'll be ugly and messy. But the SOC, I think, has already made some preparations. But organically, even if the SOC were not preparing for it, here's what would happen. Or will happen. The Khazarians don't want to destroy their system. They don't want the Great Reset. They are forced. We could just decide, okay, now we're going to use these blue dollars or these pink dollars or something and go ahead and have another fiat currency system. But everybody's getting wise to the idea. They don't want this hidden taxation of inflation and all of the interest that's taken off. And we don't like central banks that destroy everything with a centralized understanding of how humanity should run. And that now we really are moving into the age of Aquarius, which is decentralized sovereign individuals, et cetera, et cetera. So we won't recreate a fiat currency system. So very much like the 1930s, only on a vastly expanded scale, we will have an inversion of value. And so all of a sudden, things that cost lots and lots and lots and lots of dollars will cost very little in the way of silver. So Venezuela and the South American republics have gone through this in these last few years as their currencies tied to the US dollar died. Their response was the whole barrels, wheelbarrows full of currency, right? Or so you take, I can't remember how many Argentine pesos or Argentine dollars it took to buy a month's worth of food, but it was truly a wheelbarrow's worth of money. Or a single 1 ounce of silver bought food for a family of 4 for a month, right? So, so that's what will occur, is that we'll have this inversion, and we'll still be doing things, and we'll still be active in rebuilding and recovering our society. So we've got all these people we have to help. We're under a huge burden that didn't exist in the 1930s, end of the fiat currency system.
Right.
When it ends, we have distributed, decentralized freedom, but that means, you're your own bank, you're your own personal responsibility, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to have a lot of people that aren't prepared for that because we have not educated, we've schooled.
Right.
And so we're leaving the school system. I expect there will be
I do too.
half of the population, of the Western republics.
And starvation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. I remember a long time ago, I can't remember his name, his real name, but he had a book. He's a psychiatrist in the British Health Service. And he was talking about how, and at the time I was kind of shocked about that because I didn't think it was that bad in America, but it is that bad in America, where he said, these children, these people that he would be seeing in the psychiatric practice at his public health service, they couldn't cook. They knew how to scavenge in their food by going through the cupboards when they got home from school, but they didn't know how to cook. Nobody in the family knew how to cook. They didn't know how to buy fresh foods. All they knew was living off this dole kind of thing. And so they don't have any skills, but I'm going to tell you, I mean, I'm in the Midwest, I'm in Iowa, and I grew up where everybody had a garden. Everybody they knew how to can, they knew how to store food, and they stored food. It's not just they knew how to do it. They all believed in the necessity of preparing for a bad year. Whatever that was caused by, it was, bad years could be drought, could be bad crops, could be you lost your job. It didn't matter. You're bad, you prep. And I'm going to tell you, even in my home state, that was a very self-sufficient state, it's turned around so that most kids don't know how to garden. They don't know how to can. They don't know how to save food. And but I'm seeing the older people that gave that up years ago now relearning those skills. It's our generation, it's our 70-year-old, my 70-year-old fellow humans here that are trying to save this whole thing. We need the young people to get involved, but some of them are, but that's what's got to happen.
They will have to, in a very shockingly fast period, that that kind of a thing, right? Because of what's going to hit us so hard beginning this summer. And so we'll hit the peak of Big Ugly sometime in June. And that's an emotional peak. That's not an event peak or anything. It just won't get any uglier than what we encounter through June
of this year.
Right.
And why then? What's going to happen? And does this?
So this relates to an emotional forecast coming out of the language that we will have a mental breakthrough of the weaponized mind control that allowed the people to take the shots. Okay, so
this is when reality hits them.